Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get it. Let's talk week 4 NFL betting lines. I'll give you guys my best bets for the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. Hope everybody is waking up after a little bit of a hangover with what we saw with some outstanding college football yesterday. The Georgia and Alabama game, what a primetime showdown that was, with Georgia coming back and then obviously losing by a 75-yard touchdown late in the game by the Crimson Tide. That was one for the ages. A really great game with a lot of offense. Kind of a dud in the first half, but a lot of people did cash on that Alabama money line. Could have went either way, but hey, that's why we bet the games. That's why we love football. And overall, though, it was an outstanding day for me. I hope you guys all cashed some tickets on Saturday. Ended up going 5-2 with my best bets within the college football games that we had going on to you guys. And that was a very, very fun day. But let's get into it. Let's talk some NFL. If you're new to the channel, this is a great time to do this. Make sure you subscribe. All you got to do is click the subscribe button. It's totally free to click that button. And all that's going to do is give you guys the best sports picks week in and week out, day in and day out, right here on the channel. Also, please smash that like button, and if you guys haven't done so already, follow me on X. The handle is in the bottom left, as well as hop on over to the Discord and join us there. It's a totally free platform where we do kick it around every single day. A lot of good people and community we're building over there on that channel. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk some football, and let's get down into the outlier. And this is one of the best tools I use within my sports betting. It's completely invaluable. Make sure you guys all sign up. If you have not signed up for Outlier, there is a link down below in the description that will give you a 7-day free trial. And let's get into the numbers, where we're going to give you guys the best odds and talk about some closing line value. And then in this video, we're going to have 6 best bets, as well as a teaser I put together for today's games, where I will give you guys my plays right here in this video for the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock the afternoon and early afternoon games that we have in week 4. Okay, first game to talk about is Jacksonville and Houston. Now, this is one where we want to get into the numbers here, because this is kind of one of those muck-it-up games where Houston is limping into this game from an injury standpoint. Don't really know what's happening with both of these clubs. I think Houston's a little bit overvalued in the market, and after losing 34-7 against Minnesota, that was a bad loss. We did see them barely edge out Chicago at home, and obviously the game against Indianapolis, that was a 29-27 victory to start off the season. Houston's a little bit fugazi in my opinion, and now they kind of limp in this game. They catch Jacksonville 0-3 on the season. If Jacksonville is able to lose this game, and lose this divisional showdown, I think this is something where we could see Doug Peterson maybe on his way out of Jacksonville. All right, but we'll see what happens. I think Trevor Lawrence does bounce back. The Jags have been historically bad for this season thus far, only scoring 10 points, 13 points, and 17 points throughout the course of these 3 games to kick off the season. Getting bludgeoned by Buffalo last week. They definitely have a problem with stopping the run, and this is something where they come into this game, and I can't really explain this. This is something where they have to go on the road again after losing to Buffalo. I can't really explain the line movement, but we are seeing a lot of steam within Jacksonville taking some money. That number has come down from 6 to 5.5, and now it looks like it may even go even further down to a flat 5. But we'll see what happens. For me in this game, I don't really have a play on one side or another, because I don't want to be on the side of Jacksonville. I know that's probably the sharper side, taking the 5.5. But I am going to look at this game. You could even find a 6 out there juiced up if you want to take that 6, get it on that key number. But for me, this is going to be a Nico Collins game. I think that C.J. Stroud is going to throw the ball for a lot of yardages. And I do like Nico Collins over 5.5 receptions. That would be my best bet in this game. Also, you could take Nico Collins anytime touchdown. And that's where I'm going to be at, because I think that's going to be the weapon that C.J. Stroud turns to in this matchup. Okay, so that's kind of how I'll approach this game. Like I said, a lot of steam towards the Jags, but I'm going to stay away from that one. Okay, next game out there is going to be the Rams and the Bears. Now, this will be a best bet where we are going to be on the Rams +3. Can't really explain it, but it's kind of where we're seeing the money head, and I think this is one where we do get a lower scoring game. 40.5 is that total. We have seen it bet down all the way from 47 down to 40.5. We do have a lot of injuries to be concerned with. We look like Keenan Allen might get to make his debut here, questionable in this matchup, but we do get a lot of other injuries on the defensive side for Chicago. But now within the Rams, this is something where we look at kind of what their receivers are doing. We know that Cooper Kupp's out, Puka Nacua as well, and then obviously Kyron Williams is going to be that bell cow for the Rams in the backfield here. So this is kind of a narrative where we look into the Rams and you kind of talk about what they were able to do, winning against San Francisco in comeback fashion, getting blown out by Arizona, and then losing to Detroit 26-20. I think the Rams are going to find a way to kind of muck this game up and kind of strength out a victory. Going against a rookie quarterback, we're talking about, there's some reports about DeAndre Swift subsequently in Chicago, maybe not even getting involved in this game. So this is something where if you want to look into DeAndre Swift unders, that's going to be a very strong prop bet for me. Probably one of my favorite bets in the prop market as well. But we will look also into taking the Rams backup running backs going over. That's something I'm going to look into for possibly a same-game parlay. But for me, this is a spot where I do love the Rams here, taking them up. Getting them to that key number where we do get the Rams at +3. Let's take them with a field goal cushion. You could actually find a juiced up 3.5 if you guys don't want to do that. But that's where we're going to take the Rams here, +3. And I am also going to throw them into a teaser here as well. So that's where we're going to be at. I do like the fact that the Rams and Sean McVay, they have that pedigree. They do like to kind of win these games when they really shouldn't. And I think that's what we're going to see here in this spot. Is kind of a very strong performance by the Los Angeles Rams. Going on the road, we'll see what the weather does, but by all accounts, this is going to be a low-scoring game. I am going to tease the Rams up as well, just because within a lower total, getting 10 points, that's something where we do have a lot of value there, where there's going to be little margin of error if the Bears want to cover this game and still stay around that total of 40. So that's where I'm at within this matchup. And let's get into the next game, okay? But best bet will be +3 on the Rams and DeAndre Swift under within his rushing, okay? And rushing, receiving if you want to go down that market as well. Okay, Pittsburgh and the Colts. This is one where I want to pull up the betting splits for you guys. You can see this is overwhelmingly, in terms of the spread, we're seeing a little bit more of the money on Indianapolis. I can't vibe with it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. We do get a very low total. This is where we see 40.5 as well for this game. And Pittsburgh comes in this game -130 money line favorites. I'm going to take them -2.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 and take Pittsburgh to win by a field goal at -110. For me, this is just kind of the storyline here. You look at the Steelers 3-0. If you guys can find a reason, please let me know down below in the comments. But if you find a reason why you can trust Anthony Richardson against this Pittsburgh's defense, where if we look into their numbers, they've given up 2 touchdowns through 3 games. Okay, 2 touchdowns through 3 games. Yeah, Indianapolis might end up winning this game, but I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm laying the Steelers here -2.5. I just can't get down with Richardson. I do like the fact that he, taking him to throw an interception in this spot. That's a very juicy prop. Also, the Indianapolis Colts have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. So I do look for the Steelers running back committee, Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, to have a very strong showing as well. Justin Fields, take him over his rushing as well. You can find that number to be kind of low, and I think this is something where a lot of people are looking to sell high on the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, not so fast. I think this is where we do get the Steelers here to go 4-0 on the season, and it's kind of funny because they do have the #1 hardest strength of schedule in the preseason rankings that we did see. So I do like Fields to have a lot of success on the ground. I like Najee Harris to have a lot of success on the ground, and I do think this is where we get a big day running the football. So look for this total to go under. Anthony Richardson throw an interception, and as what we're going to do for the best bet, it will be the Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5. Okay. That's just kind of where I'm at. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown is going to be a little bit skewed here because just don't like the fact that they have to get that done against a Pittsburgh front that has been very impressive as we start off 2024. Okay, Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. This is another game we're going to talk about. This is one where we do get kind of another muck-it-up game. And I got to be honest with you guys, this is probably one of the harder weeks of NFL football to kind of look into. And we talk about kind of what's happening within this game. Philadelphia has been very, very, very interesting to bet against. 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. And now we get them in Tampa Bay, banged up as a 1.5-point road favorite. This is a game where I love taking Tampa up. This is a great leg for a long teaser. Take Tampa Bay up past that key number. You get a touchdown if you want to do a 6-point teasers, plus 7.5. That's going to be one of my favorite and I think most popular teaser legs out there in the market. But for me, this is a bounce back spot for Tampa. I like the fact that we do get a banged up Philadelphia team where this will be a Saquon Barkley day. Okay, Saquon's going to go absolutely ham. We do have A.J. Brown out. We probably have Devonta Smith out with a concussion, and the list goes on. So it's going to be basically Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley are the only ones going to be able to do it here in this spot. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay up in a teaser. That will be my best bet for this matchup. And I do like the Saquon Barkley anytime touchdowns. I like Saquon Barkley getting him in terms of rushing and receiving if you want to even hit that. But over 75 rushing yards seems to be a very strong option for Saquon. Okay. Next game we're going to get into, this will be Cincinnati and Carolina. This is another game where it's kind of one of those weird ones. All right, how bad is Cincinnati? How bad is Carolina? Well, after getting Andy Dalton back, if you look at some of the numbers and some of the numbers coming out from Football Outsiders, Pro Football Focus, Carolina has not been the bad team that I think Bryce Young painted them as. All right. And this is where we see the Panthers 4.5-point favorites. We're seeing this number move a little bit. I do think that we do get this back up to 5, but 4.5 with the Panthers is kind of the interesting side as we get them at home. But the Bengals, right? If I had to bet this game, I would be taking Cincinnati minus the 4.5. It's a number I don't like to take too often. But this is something where we look at the Bengals 0-3. Will they really go 0-4? Who knows? I kind of have a rule of thumb where I don't bet the Bengals until week 5, and I kind of broke that rule this season thus far, and I've lost some bets doing that. But in this game, I just have to lend towards taking Carolina. We look at kind of what they're going to be able to do running the football with Chuba Hubbard, as well as just the fact that Cincinnati losing to Washington in primetime. I mean, how bad can you make it, right? Washington has the worst defense in the NFL, and they did not even they got their offense clicking. We saw Jamar Chase have an outstanding game, but just not getting it done. And I think this is where Cincinnati does bounce back. Whether or not they cover the 4.5, that's the big question. That's why I'm staying away. But if I had to bet this game, I would probably take Carolina plus 4.5, just on a fade against the Bengals. But it would not shock me if the Bengals come out here and actually get this one done with margin. One interesting little nugget for you guys here. We have the total set at 47.5, and the under has hit in 10 of the last 14 games that the Carolina Panthers have been underdogs in. So if you do want to bet this game, probably lean towards the under. That would be where the trends back up the numbers. Okay. Next one is going to be New Orleans and Atlanta. Now, this is a very interesting matchup because by all accounts, it looks like Kamara will not be able to go. His ribs are bothering him. So whether or not they just use him out of the backfield as a decoy, catching some balls, maybe he's a little bit limited if he does suit up. But this is where we look into this game. And we could talk about the New Orleans Saints and their potent offense. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles were able to stifle them last week. And if it wasn't for some, big heroic touchdown there by Saquon Barkley, the Eagles subsequently would have probably lost this game. So yes, it was a sluggish offensive performance by the Saints. But now they have to go on the road. Everything about this says Atlanta minus 2.5. I just can't get down with Kirk Cousins, so I'm going to stay away from this game. It's not really on my radar. This is a game that I crossed off. I just don't want anything to do with it because there's so much uncertainty with the injuries with Kamara, as well as kind of what we have going on with if the Saints are a little bit fugazi with that first few games of offensive kind of output, if you will, where they just absolutely dominated their competition. Okay, next game we're going to get into will be the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. This is a game where I do have them part of my teaser leg, where I will be taking the Jets down through all the key numbers and getting the Jets in a basically a -1 fashion. The Jets come into this game as a -8 favorite. You could have got this a little earlier in the week at the key number, taking the Jets -7. Bo Nix has played really well, okay? All things considered, of all the rookies, he's doing his part. He's kind of showing out. And this is something where we look at the Broncos, okay, and what they're going to be able to do against this vaulted Jets defense. Okay, we could talk about the Jets, in terms of their defense. It's a little bit of an upgrade for what Bo Nix was able to do in his last game, where basically went into Tampa Bay and they won 26-7. I think this is something where we look at this game going way, way under the total. We see Pat Surtain will be on we look at Garrett Wilson getting locked up. That doesn't happen too often, but Surtain is one of the best corners in the NFL. And then on the other side of the ball, we do have Sauce Gardner. So not a lot of offense. I think that's going to be effective. We do see Denver come in here allowing a one of the league best per play yardages from a defensive standpoint. So I do think this game under 39.5 is very tempting. That's kind of where I would lean in this spot. But I do like the Jets to eventually win this. I'm just not willing to lay the -8 with such a low total. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at within this best bet. Okay, next game will be a homecoming spot here for Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. In this game, we talk about kind of what the sharp side is, and it's all over the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love looks like he's going to suit up. We'll wait for confirmation a little bit before kickoff, but I think that's already priced into the number, assuming that Jordan Love's going to play with that MCL knee issue he's dealing with. All right, so questionable, but from all accounts, it looks like he's going to go. And if it ends up being a late scratch, I would look for Minnesota maybe even to flip this number. But from right now, I think it's priced in that he will suit up, and that's why we're seeing -3. I am going to go in this game. I do like a bet here within the touchdown market. This will be Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. It's going to be a chalkier play today, but if we look into kind of what he's able to do in terms of his offensive numbers, Aaron Jones, let's just bring it up here. I'll pull up some stats for you guys real quick. Aaron Jones, 19 for 102, 9 for 32, and 14 for 94. He had a touchdown week 1 against the Giants. He's been touchdown less in his last 2 games, but a lot of receptions. I shouldn't say that because I think he did have one through the air. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, that's kind of where we look at. Yeah, he had one through the air against Houston. Okay, so 2 touchdowns on the year. Kind of was blanked against San Francisco in that 23-17 loss that they delivered to San Francisco last on the 15th. Okay, but this is something where we look at the Vikings. They have been kind of the surprise team within the NFL this year, and I think this is where we get the Minnesota Vikings in this spot. A little bit outmatched. I think Green Bay is the better team. I think we're going to see a lot of running the football on both sides, and if we do get Jordan Love back into the fold, I look for the Green Bay Packers to cover the -3. I'm not going to bet that, but I do want to take a stab in my anytime touchdown parlays. I will be backing Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. I think they're going to do whatever they can to get him in the end zone against his old team. He's probably going to do a Lambeau leap and going to be really, really kind of received well by that Lambeau crowd out there, the Green Bay faithful, and that's kind of what I'm looking into for this game between the Vikings and the Packers. Okay, so it'd be Green Bay and Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. Next, this is another game where it has a lot of blowout potential. The only thing that worries me is we do get a low total, 40.5. We kind of saw New England, the wheels started falling off. They lost to the Jets 24-3. I look for the 49ers, and how much of a downgrade of McCaffrey not being in the lineup, does it matter? I don't think it does, okay? I don't think it does. And I think what we're seeing here from the likes of their backup running back, you could see kind of the narrative here. This is something where it's not a big loss, in my opinion. We look at kind of San Francisco and wonder more so about Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and their health. But for me, this is something where it's kind of a big spot for them to win big, bounce back. And I do like the fact that Jordan Mason, like I said, is not too much of a downgrade from McCaffrey. So Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown, that's going to be a strong play. But for me, if I had to bet this game, I would lean towards taking San Francisco. I just don't like the hook out there at -10.5. So I'm going to stay away from this one. However, I do think San Francisco gets this one done by double digits. Okay. Washington and the Arizona Cardinals. We will have a best bet in this one. This is featuring a very good storyline here. We have 2 mobile quarterbacks. We have the Washington Commanders with the worst defense statistically in the NFL. And I think the Cardinals are going to have their way. Now, a lot of you guys are going to wonder about my bet. I do like Marvin Harrison to get into the red zone and the end zone in this game as well. Giving up a lot in the air. He's going to have his targets kind of increase. We saw what number 1 receivers have done to the Washington defense. Malik Neighbors had a huge game. Jamar Chase had a huge game. Both of those receivers catching touchdowns, 3 collectively between the 2. And this is where I think that we do get a touchdown by Marvin Harrison. But I also think that the Cardinals get this one done in terms of a point perspective. Now, my best bet in this game will be taking the Cardinals team total over 26.5, that we do get the Washington defense averaging and allowing 27 plus points a game. And this is where I think that we get, the Arizona Cardinals are averaging 27 points a game, and I think this is where Washington having the worst defense in the NFL statistically lends towards the argument that we do get Arizona go over that number. So I'm taking over 26.5 points for Arizona in their team total. It doesn't really vibe well with the numbers, so I think this is a bad number in terms of the total. We've seen this bet down to 48.5, and now sitting at a 3.5 point favorite for the Arizona Cardinals. Kind of makes you wonder, okay, so if Arizona does score 27 plus, does that mean that Washington's only going to score 21? That's kind of the handicap. That's kind of where I'm at. So if you do like that 48.5 as a total, I'm going to bypass it. I'm going to take the Arizona team total instead of the full game, because I just have a weird feeling about this one that we may get a little kind of reversion to the mean from a rookie quarterback within Washington. So give me the Cardinals here over 26.5 as my best bet. Now, we do have a couple more to talk about, 2 more games before that evening slate, which I will have another video. It's kind of going to be a dedicated video just towards the Sunday night football action and as well the Monday night games. But in this game between the Browns and the Raiders, 2 big storylines here, okay? The Browns, they have to win, okay? They have to win. They're 1-2. They've looked horrendous. Deshaun Watson, by the numbers, is the worst quarterback in the NFL. And now we do get the Raiders hosting the Browns here, where we look at this game at 2.5 point favorite for the Brownies. This number has climbed a lot, but now after getting the inactive news from Devonta Adams is going to be out, and now we do get Max Crosby, which means a lot to that Raiders defense, okay? So I look for the Browns to have their way. It's going to be an ugly game. Total set at 36.5, but I'm taking the Browns on the money line. They have to get a win. They're desperate. They are the better team, and now with the injury report for the Raiders, all they really have to do is take care of Brock Bowers and lock down their one receiver, and I think this one will be a firm victory for the Browns. As long as Watson does not find a way to blow this game, I do like the Brownies here on the money line. So I'm betting the Browns money line minus 135, okay? And then the last game we're going to talk about will be a showdown between the AFC West within the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, this is something where we talk about kind of what's going on in this game. I will have Kansas City in part of my teaser for today, but we do get the likes of the Chargers defense playing very well, okay? But we do get Derwin James is out. We do get Justin Herbert's hurt. We do get Joey Bosa, Joe Alt, and Rashawn Slater, 2 of their great linemen. We do get Joey Bosa, their best defensive pass rusher, one of the best in the NFL, and their quarterback, all really kind of banged up. And I think that's something where we look at this from an injury standpoint. You see what the Chargers were able to do in their last game as they lost against Pittsburgh 20-10. This is where I think Kansas City is really going to have efficiency running the football. However, I do like this from a standpoint where I'm going to take Travis Kelce just because it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. If you're sleeping on Travis Kelce, don't sleep because he will have a bounce-back game in this spot. Historically, he's always had a huge game against the Chargers, and I think Mahomes knows that. There's a reason for it. I know this is a different regime with Harbaugh in the fold. Do not be surprised if we do see Kelce get into the end zone. But what I'm going to do here, it's just a value play. The number has fallen way too low. This is where we've normally seen this number around 69.5 usually. And this is where I get the Kansas City Chiefs tight end, Hall of Famer. We get Travis Kelce at a 44.5 number. That's where I'm taking Kelce over 44.5 receiving yards in this spot. Love it. I think he's going to get 5-6 grabs, probably a chunk gain of 20 yards, and then we just need to have a little bit more to cover that 44.5, where I think he's going to end up flying over that. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think he might even hit 100 yards in this game. Kind of a bounce-back spot for Kelce. The matchup dictates that's going to be a very favorable matchup for tight ends against I keep saying San Diego, against Los Angeles. So give me Kelce over 44.5 yards to round out my best bets. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. Guys, please subscribe if you haven't done so as I close out this video. Smash the like button, and if you want to become a channel member, links down below. Join us here at TBM. If you want to give back to the channel, it's a great way to do so. But that's where we'll have the Rams +3, Bengals first half, Pittsburgh minus 2.5. The Arizona team total 26.5. Cleveland on the money line, and Travis Kelce over 44.5 receiving yards. And that will go along with my 7-point teaser I'm going to play within Tampa plus 8.5. The Jets down to -1. Kansas City in a pick'em, and the Rams plus 10. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. That is my best bets for the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock hour games. And I will have a video where we go over the primetime matchup between the Bills-Ravens tonight, which is going to be a fantastic game. And then obviously we have 2 games on Monday. So make sure you have that notification bell turned on. It's totally free to subscribe. Make sure you guys all do that before leaving this video. Good luck with your picks, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.